welcome to a special extended edition of the Lisburn Distillery TV match highlight show, where not only will we be reviewing last Saturday's game, we'll also be looking ahead to this Saturday's Irish Cup fixture as well.
Last Saturday's game saw Lisburn Distillery travel to take on Sport and Leisure Shrubs in a Premier Intermediate League game at Glen Road.
And of course the Whites, as league leaders, will be looking to go into this game and finish November on a high with a win, while Sport and Leisure want revenge for their 3-0 loss just a few weeks prior. Here are the match highlights. First off, I'd like to apologise to Sport and Leisure for not capturing our goal. Just like our defenders, I was just caught a little off guard and I just took my attention off the ball. I was thinking ahead of what I was going to do outside and I thought there's no chance of getting back in this, but thankfully the Whites prevailed. Anyway, Colin, thoughts on your games, and take all attention off my boo-boo.
I thought the game itself was a good game. It was a hard fought game. I thought we played very, very well on the day. I think everybody throughout the team worked very, very hard and pretty deserved to win at the end of the day. I was a bit nervous towards the end, the last 10 minutes. We seemed to be cruising, and we conceded that late goal which you failed to capture on camera, just to remind you.
SpaghettiOs.
Once I went in, all of a sudden they sort of got the second win. It really came after us, and it was tough for that last sort of 5-7 minutes or so. But yeah, the guys held firm, that sort of viewpoint.
It
What
was
did you make of their own goal?
Well, that's the turning point of the game. It was a very slow, dominant. We had majority of possession. We controlled the game. Couldn't put the ball in the net, and then all of a sudden, around the 50-something minute, 53, 54, a long ball into the goalkeeper's net, and I was like, okay, that's that. I was recording this game, and I had to ask you. I was like, I know my eyes were on the ball, but what happened?
Yeah.
Did I just imagine that? Is it just one of those like Saturday morning hangovers, lunchtime hangovers? And I'm thinking, what did I just see? Was that real or imaginary? But it definitely opened the floodgates for Sport and Leisure's demise, as Paul Young would eventually get the second goal, and slightly just set into cruise control until we conceded the late goal that I failed to capture. It happens.
We'll not talk about it anymore. So a good result then for the Whites, eventually winning 2-1 against Sport and Leisure Swifts. Elsewhere in the league on Saturday, Dundela dropped points away to Port Stewart, where they were held to a 2-2 draw. Tobermore pulled off a superb 3-0 victory at Banbridge Town, while Queen's hammered basement side Anna United by 7 goals to 2.
If we now look at the league table, the good news is that the Whites have ended the month of November still at the top of the pile on 21 points. However, both Queens and Dundela are still breathing down our necks on 18 points of a game in hand.
Meadhbh Brennan caught up with Timmy Clarke to hear his thoughts of the game. We spoke to Timmy at training on Tuesday night.
So today I'm joined then with Timmy Clark. So Timmy, what's your overall impression then of Saturday's game?
Yeah, well, as I said, I thought we were the better team probably over the two halves. I suppose maybe the first goal was a bit of luck, and the second one I suppose was a bit of luck as well. So I just think we're lucky probably to get away, but at the same time I think we probably were the better team.
And when Sport and Leisure scored then, did that put a bit of pressure on yourselves?
Yeah, I thought we invited the pressure on a wee bit, sort of sat back a bit, but I think we defended well from probably the first minute right to the last minute. Their goal was a great header, but I thought we'd done well to sort of limit their chances.
So you think you deserved to win then?
Yeah, I think overall we did, yeah.
And what's your thoughts then on the Irish Cup tie coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think obviously it's a big game for Mac and Geordie, because they were obviously there with a few of the players as well. I said I was there, but I was only probably really in the second team when I was a bit younger. It's a big game because it gets into the fourth round, with then the chance obviously of moving on to the fifth round, getting the big draw for ourselves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, like a lot of the boys are.
Thanks for speaking to us, Timmy.
So next up for Lisburn Distillery, it's a return to Irish Cup action when in the fourth round we entertain Albert Foundry here at New Grosvenor this Saturday.
And of course, this is the last round before the big boys come in, and this game has a little bit of a different flair as it is a friendly, non-friendly game, and has a lot of significance with our current manager Colin McIlwaine, as he did very well with Albert Foundry just a few years ago, and long and behold he came to us, and we have been high and flying since.
Yeah.
Colin, your thoughts on this game?
Interesting. I think the connection with Colin previously with them as their former manager adds a bit of spice to it. Quite a few of our players have been there, as well before in the past. So it's as you say, it's a friendly, non-friendly game. So a strange scenario to have to sort of come across. Looking forward to it. Won't be easy. They might be an amateur league side, but they're a decent amateur league side, and they'll certainly want their name in the fifth round draw when it comes round. So we'll have to deal with it very, very professional on the day to get the result.
Of course, this past week we just went past Thanksgiving, so it's almost like a Thanksgiving reunion for a few of our players, and of course Colin, and of course the winner of this does meet the big boys in the next round. Possibly, it is a great potential, but the big boys do come to play.
Whenever I said to Colin about actually the draw was made, I rang him and said, "Did you see the Irish Cup run?" He said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Well, we're home to Albert Foundry," and there was a sort of a silence for about 10 seconds. He said, "You're joking me, you're joking." I said, "No, I'm not."
No.
He says, "You have to be joking, there's no way." I said, "Well, so that's came out." So he was a bit stunned, to put it mildly. But,
of course. But good friends, better enemies, of course.
That's it. Well, last week we went out to training, myself and Lydia Campbell, and Lydia spoke to Colin to get his take on the game. And here's what Colin had to say.
So, massive game for yourself this weekend. We're facing Albert Foundry at home in the Irish Cup. What are your initial thoughts on that draw?
Obviously, from a personal point of view, it was a draw I didn't want. For a simple reason, I've had a lot of history with Albert Foundry. I spent 5 years there as part of the management team. Most of my playing career would have been spent at Albert Foundry as well. So, from a personal point, I would like to see both clubs progressing into the big rounds. But in a footballing sense, it was obviously trickier draws with Dundalk and people like Queen still in the draw. So we've got to look at it. It's a home game. Our focus is about getting Distillery into the 5th round and amongst the big boys and stuff. So yes, it's a big game. From my point of view, and personal note, myself and George spent a few years there. There's a few players have got connections to the club and stuff, but we're looking forward to it. And as I say, our goal is to make sure that Lisburn Distillery's in the next round.
What were the initial emotions whenever Albert Foundry came out of the hat? Was it excitement? Was it apprehension? What? I mean, how do you sum that up? Whenever you did have such a successful time there. What emotions does a draw like this bring?
As I said to you before, it's one I didn't want, and to be fair, as I say, because I want to see the club doing well. It's the first result to look at after our own. As I say, I was excited, probably not, but in hindsight of all the things, I mean, I spent a lot of good times at Foundry. I've got a lot of good memories. I've got connections to the club. I know other committee, and it's my old player Stuart Doyle, who's the manager. I'm looking forward to going head to head with him. As I say, now that the dust is settled and we're getting prepared for Saturday's game, it's about focusing on getting us into the next round. As I say, a lot of people will see it maybe as we're slight favourites because we got the home draw, but I know from my experience in the Amateur League, I know the Foundry mentality. I know the way they play with heart and desire. I know they'll be going out and kicking every ball and making sure that they give everything to get their club into the next round. I keep saying this, Amateur League teams, there's plenty of them who could come into championship level and hold their own if they had the ambition to do so, if they had the right infrastructure. But as I say, we could be slight favourites on paper, but I know cup football, and it's down to what happens on the day. And if we're not tuned in and knowing what's expected from us, then we'll find ourselves in a hell of a match. Again, as I say, myself and George have been here over a year now. We love it. We love working for the club, and we have set ourselves targets this season, and one of the targets would be to make sure we're in the 5th round of the Irish Cup. So come Saturday, that will be our main focus. It won't matter who we're playing. It'll be a matter of making sure that we go into the draw for the next round anyway.
Well, Mag, we'll look forward to it as a club, and I know you're looking forward to it in some way, and we'll just wish you all the best for it.
That game against Albert Foundry takes place here at New Grosvenor this Saturday, with kick-off at the earlier than normal time of 1:30 p.m. And as usual, we'd appreciate your support for Lisburn Distillery on the day.
And that brings us to the end of this special extended edition of the Lisburn Distillery TV Match Highlight Show.
On behalf of Michael and myself, a massive thank you to each and every one of you who have taken the time out to watch today's show. I've been Colin Hopkins.
And I've been Michael McDonald.
Come on, you whites!